Our presentation is on the film Road to Palmoa, a 2014 film by Jason Momoa. The film begins with Wolf, Jason Momoa, fixing his motorcycle as he begins a journey across the desert to retrieve his mother's ashes from his sister.
Along the way, he stops and meets with his father, and it is revealed his mother was raped and murdered. Wolf then killed her murderer, and his father, who was a tribal police officer, covered it up.
Next, he meets a down-and-out musician named Cash, played by Robert Malohan, who joins him on his journey.
Through the film, the duo is pursued by two FBI agents who are hunting Wolf for the murder of his mother's attacker.
Within their journey, Wolf tries to find love with the woman he meets, but it does not work as he can't let go of his violent past.
Wolf finally makes it to his sister's place in the Mojave Reservation. He then retrieves his mother's ashes and heads for the mountains to dump the ashes. On their way, they see a young boy on the side of the road who tells them his sister is being raped. Wolf and Cash find the attacker and beat him, rescue the boy and his sister, and take them to the tribal police station. There is a brief confrontation with the tribal officer until the officer realizes who Wolf is and lets him go.
The agents arrive at Wolf's sister's home and hold her and her baby hostage, threatening to arrest her and take away the baby into Child Protective Services and interrogate her husband to find out where Wolf is heading.
Wolf arrives at the mountains with Cash and performs a smudging ceremony as he dumps his mother's ashes into the water.
The film concludes with Wolf running from the agents, where he takes his own life by cutting open his stomach instead of being captured and dying in Cash's arms.
For the film background, the film was directed by Jason Momoa, and he had many roles within the film. He was a director, a story writer, a co-producer, and an actor. He was helped by only 7 other people, so it was a very small crew that he was working with, and they were all friends. And one of the actors who was helping him was Robert Mohan, and he was also a story writer for the film. The film was very cheap to make, starting at only $250,000. And the film was initially submitted to Sundance, but it did not make the cut. So then it was given to WWE Films and Anchor-based studios. The film shows many different themes of murdered and missing Indigenous women. It talks about land jurisdiction, crimes and laws within reservations, and specifically looking at how it impacts Native women. Momoa wanted to show how in 2014 there were loopholes within land jurisdiction and laws with crimes on Native land. He described how Native women are facing rape and abuse and even murder due to non-natives going onto reservations and are committing these horrible crimes. And these crimes are still happening today. There have been many improvements within government and different tribal officers and federal government officers, but it is still a contemporary issue that needs to be solved.
As for the format of the film uses several montage shots of Wolf and Cash riding motorcycles across the desert, with sunsets in the background set to music, featuring artists such as Johnny Cash. Given the dark tone of the film, there were several scenes with limited lighting or dark lighting, such as sunsets, dark bars, evening shots, and even very dark night scenes. As for context for love scene of Cash versus Wolf, Cash is seen to be rather promiscuous in looking for love, as he's seen going to strip clubs and getting drunk to the point of being thrown out of them. Wolf, on the other hand, seems to actually want to find love to a point that he meets a woman at a gas station and helps her fix her car. The woman is actually played by Jason Momoa's real-world wife. He goes back to her place with her, and he finds romance with her, but eventually has to leave as he cannot let go of his past and feels that he cannot have love in the real world due to committing murder for his loved ones. He does not believe he can live free in the real world, being hunted by agents, and does not want to put another person in that position. Again, despite the film's continuous dark and gloomy scenes, the very end of the film involves Wolf killing himself, but the scene is shot with a very sunny blue sky and a clear, open lake upon a mountaintop. I believe, or we believe, this represents Wolf finally being set free.
The function of this film is to give the audience the acknowledgement of many of the issues in Indian country. Director and actor Momoa had said in an interview about why he had made the film and that he wanted to show how Native women are facing rape, abuse, and murder due to non-natives going on reservations to commit these crimes. The film not only showed the violence that happens to Native women on reservations, but it touches on poverty and alcoholism. There is a fight scene where men are fighting and placing bets on each other. Momoa wanted to include how there are many contemporary issues facing Native Americans in Indian country, and his film shows the basic information the audience needs to think about for these issues. He also shows that it can be complicated with law enforcement when crimes are committed against Native women, and he chose to include a scene of a Native woman being attacked by a non-native on Native land to show how this problem is happening so often. And he chose for the audience to not only hear about the topic / problem, but to allow us to put ourselves into the victim's shoes. It allows us to understand how problematic this is. The film does a good job of introducing the topic, and we have thought the film could have included more information on the topic rather than the amount of sunset rides, but we thought that due to the small number of actors and the cost of the film, that this is why. We're going to conclude with the theme connections. The Road of Palmoa shows many of the course's themes. The theme of identity is shown with Wolf in his Mojave culture. In the film, we see that Wolf is constantly moving and on the run. We see he feels lost and distant. When he goes to visit his sister at the reservation, we see how the mood and his mood shifts. We see him laughing and enjoying the time spent there. This shows how his identity is connected to his family and culture. He feels very connected when he is there. We also see his culture and identity shown with him and his father honoring their mom and the wife by spreading her ashes and burning sage. The next theme of the film is resistance. We see how Wolf puts the law into his own hands after his mother was killed and raped. He doesn't feel that the laws are providing any justice for his mother or other Native women. He sees that there needs to be ways for Native women to be protected because the federal government's way of protecting them is not working.
Another theme featured in the film is survivance. This is shown through how Wolf or Momoa having the film show the violence against Native women is and has been happening for a long time and has been happening since colonialism, and there needs to be ways to put a stop to this. The film made us understand these course themes by having us critically think about the definitions. We were able to think about the topics of law enforcement, violence against Native women, and connect them to our course. It allows us to understand how there are many factors / topics that are included within the themes. Here's our works cited page. Thank you for watching. Also, if you're interested in watching this film and don't mind watching it with French subtitles but still in English, it's free on YouTube if you look it up.